Hello, my name is Sarah Guidry. I'm the Executive Director at the Earl Carl Institute at Thurgood Marshall School of Law on the campus of Texas Southern University. I oversee the operations of our Juvenile Justice Project, which began more than 10 years ago, providing legal representation to juveniles. The mission of the Institute is to empower underserved and disenfranchised communities by addressing systemic social issues through the use of legal representation, education, research, and advocacy. We join the Safe and Supportive Schools collaboration to continue our work at dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline, which disproportionately disciplines and criminalizes students for youth behaviors.
I'm Andrew Hairston, and I'm a project director at Texas Appleseed. Texas Appleseed is a nonprofit public interest justice center based in Austin. We work across the state of Texas using data-driven research to uncover inequities in laws and policies that disproportionately impact historically underserved Texans, and we work to correct them. Part of my responsibilities at Texas Appleseed involved dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline, and that's exactly why we're honored to work with the Safe and Supportive Schools Collaborative of Houston to launch the Counselors Not Cops campaign. We have, in part of this campaign, created a comprehensive report detailing how the school-to-prison pipeline disproportionately criminalizes children of color and how that impacts families for generations. Our research in the report has shown that so many districts are spending millions of dollars on hundreds of school police officers to deliver this notion of school safety and a good school climate. And based on the stories that we've heard and the research that we have assessed, like use of force and arrests, school police officers do not make communities of color and children of color feel safer. In fact, they really create a harmful environment for these young people. And through this Counselors Not Cops campaign, we will urge districts across Southeast Texas to divest from school policing and surveillance measures and instead invest that money in mental health professionals that can better support young people, such as school psychologists and social workers and school counselors.
I'm Patrick Brissett, Executive Director at the Texas Office of the Children's Defense Fund. Our mission is to ensure every child a healthy start, a head start, a fair start, a safe start, and a moral start in life, and successful passage to adulthood with the help of caring families and communities. We are proud to be a member of the Safe and Supportive Schools Collaborative and the Counselors Not Cops campaign. There's no evidence to show that adding police officers in schools actually results in safer schools, but there's plenty of evidence of how few schools in Texas have adequate counseling and mental health supports. We also know that school policing criminalizes students of color and those with disabilities at disproportionate rates. We believe that every dollar a schools currently spend today on policing should instead be used for student resources and initiatives that are proven to create positive and nurturing learning environments for all students.
I'm Dustin Reinders, and I'm the supervising attorney of the education team at Disability Rights Texas. The Counselors Instead of Cops campaign is so important to our organization because students with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be arrested on campus than other students. So every day, our staff is trying to get the students the supportive services they need. And if all of the money is going towards police officers, the supportive services just aren't there for them. Our office is a combination of attorneys and non-attorney advocates. A lot of our advocates are former educators, so I always tell people we're lawyers and educators who accompany parents to meetings at schools to advocate for what their children need, better behavior support, access to counseling, and access to academic interventions that can lead to behavioral challenges when they're not received as well. And when those meetings at schools are unsuccessful, then we file complaints or even lawsuits to get children the services they need.
I'm Arshel Monsanto, and I am the Director of Programs and Organizing at Leadership for Educational Equity. Leadership for Educational Equity is a nonprofit leadership development organization that supports and inspires a network of civic leaders who want to address inequities in education. In my role, I also support One Houston, our organizing alliance composed of a network of parents, students, educators, and community members that are working toward political and social change. The way we organize through One Houston, we have deep listening, where we go out and get the opinion of the community. We do that through house meetings, surveys, polls, assemblies, just to make sure that we are capturing the voices of the people that have these issues in the places that they work, play, and live. After we do that deep listening, we then do some research actions to get to the root of the problems in that community. And after the research actions, we do actions specifically toward people or leaders that can give us the change. So think mostly school boards. We want to support the Safe and Supportive Schools Collaborative and the Counselors Not Cops campaign because we believe that exclusionary discipline impacts students of color disproportionately, specifically Black male students. When students are expelled, suspended, or referred to the juvenile justice system, they are not learning, and that impacts academic achievement. It also impacts graduation rates, and it leads to a prison pipeline, and we don't want that for students. We believe that all students, despite their race, their zip code, they all deserve an equitable education.
Tevin Johnson, here with Harris County Youth Collective as a youth and community specialist. And as a youth and community specialist, we deal with dual status youth. That's youth that's involved in the juvenile and the CPS system. As a youth and community specialist, we use our skills of advocating with experience. We're advocating with experience to keep engaged with youth of the community as well as community members. So by doing that, we host a lot of group meetings. We started out going door to door, doing grassroots things like surveys, door to door. As the community working groups, we partner with a lot of people from different organizations. We come together and we plan on what things we could do to make the community better for youth as well as just regular community members. My role in Counselors Not Cops is to basically, put the focus around school policing. Basically, we're here to advocate through the schools to see what needs or what are the needs for the students. Is there any counseling going on in the schools? Is the counseling effective? We're working on defunding the police. A lot of the youth of the community in RTCs and schools, they feel like the police don't help their situation or better the situation. It's a lot going on, and things start from the community and home. So with a lot of problems going on in the community and a lot of problems going on at home, it could, escalate over to school, and it won't be a good look, because they're already dealing with problems and they have to go living over there, watching their back. They feel like the police are over their shoulder all day, constantly in the school. So that's the thing we're working on right now with Counselors Not Cops.